It doesn't start with them kidnapping you.
It does not start with our exile.
They don't stuff the ballot boxes.
It starts with the government making hints.
It starts with overcomplicated red tape.
With the law.
With retribution.
Fake narratives and financial attacks.
Democracy and rule of law is more fragile than Americans think.
Russia was banning writers, but I was thinking like, I'm not writing books. Then it was banning teachers. And I thought, okay, I'm not a teacher. This is the big mistake, because of course it came to me. The first alarm that we should have noticed was in 2001 when NTV, the independent channel, was taken over.
Staff arriving for work were told their offices and studios were off limits unless they signed an oath of loyalty to NTV's new managers.
I remember how frustrated and angry we were, and we even went to the protest rally. But then it was cold and we had so many other independent TV channels, so we just went home and forgot about that.
My uncle, who until recently was Prime Minister of Singapore, had this pattern of using police investigations and criminal prosecutions to dispose of or exile his opponents. There have been malicious prosecutions against two leaders of different opposition parties.
The Sandinista dictatorship in Nicaragua sees nonprofits as a threat, including mine. We are focused on pro-democracy work, and that was unacceptable to the dictatorship.
In Hungary, the elimination of gender studies was the first step towards the restriction of academic freedom.
When it would be too obvious to prosecute someone for being an enemy of the state, you have to make something else up.
They came after us with the excuse that we had not submitted our financial reports. They didn't give us an opportunity to appeal.
I posted a private Facebook comment to my friends only, and the Singapore government went after me with a criminal prosecution.
Attorney General's Chambers has asked the High Court to fine Lee Sheng-wu at least $15,000.
The steps were gradual, and every one of them was unbelievable for me. Looking back, it had been obvious that the government had been going in this direction. The little speech here and the half a sentence there.
We have to revitalize our churches, our families, our universities.
We always thought, no way, they cannot cross that line, until 2020, when the Hungarian government forced my university to leave the country.
Vladimir Putin, he always has this legal steps first.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has signed 2 controversial security bills into law.
And then he does what he wants.
Would designate certain journalists and bloggers as foreign agents.
He was testing the society. Would it be okay for them if I shut down just one channel and then maybe one radio station, one newspaper, one magazine?
Our nonprofit was one of the first to be canceled by the Ortega regime. Right now, we're up to over 3,500 nonprofits.
My television channel was declared a foreign agent. I was declared a foreign agent.
I am blacklisted as an academic in Hungary. I could never get a job.
The regime was saying that I was a financier of terrorism. It would be best if I left the country immediately.
And I fled the country as soon as I could.
Russia blocked its last independent TV channel, TV Rain. Those staffers remaining in the studio gathered for a farewell at the end.
We left Russia.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
If you're used to living in a democratic society, you don't expect that a government could just go ahead and close a university.
I will fire the radical left accreditors that have allowed our colleges to become dominated by Marxist maniacs and lunatics.
Right now, there is no independent media outlets in Russia, no freedom of speech.
ABC, they're the most dishonest, in my opinion, the most dishonest news organization.
My uncle had taken his own personal lawyer and made that lawyer Attorney General.
President-elect Trump's new pick for Attorney General, Pam Bondi.
She was also on Trump's legal team during his first impeachment trial.
I call my Attorney General, I say, listen, indict him. Well, he hasn't done anything wrong that we know of. I don't know, indict him on income tax evasion. You'll figure it out.
I wish that I would have paid more attention to those flashes of authoritarianism. We ignored it because the economy was going really, really well.
I should have known. I'm a sociologist.
And I blame myself.
You want to think it's not happening because otherwise you might have to do something.
Take your finances out of the country. Try not to have a physical office space. They will seize all of your assets.
It is better to fight
Every person unlawfully jailed, unlawfully harmed is your business.
It is better to refuse rather than to give in and hope that somebody else will be the check and balance for you.